nights. The pub is open. Isn't that exciting? It's episode 25. We've been here a quarter of a century. Whenever I hear a joke about once a quarter, I always think of Ron White. He used to have a joke 100 years ago where he goes, they said they pay your taxes quarterly, and I thought that meant once every 25 years. Which is why he ended up in quite a bit of trouble. No need to go into that. What are we drinking in honor of Wisconsin? Oh, one of my favorite beers in the whole world, Spotted Cow. Better in draft, I will say. One of my favorite bars. This is in honor of football today because Green Bay is playing who? Tommy. Oh, God. Now he's with the Packers. Oh, God, his arm. I swear to God, they would put him out there. Even on a gurney. His arm's still works. He's magical. Look, he looks 25. What kind of lotion do you think she puts on his face? But Green Bay, I think, is going to win. That's my prediction. Well, it's not just my prediction. It's the bet I've made. And even though I do enjoy watching Tommy Salami be excellent, sort of like the Tiger Woods thing. Like, I don't really like Tiger, but to see people do incredible things is pretty incredible. But here's what's even more incredible than Tommy Salami or any of the things mentioned is this beer, Spotted Cow. And it's only in Wisconsin, and I have to mule it like a drug lord in my suitcase. And the guy at Delta always gives me a wink when he's like, this bag's kind of heavy. And I'm like, I know. But, and then I go, they don't have Spotted Cow where I'm going. And then he winks back. That's why I love Delta, too. He knows I have illegal beer in there. And he knows it's not really a problem. I paid for it. They just don't. You're not really letting it out of Wisconsin. It's a shame. It should go global. It's so good. And my favorite Irish bar in America, well, there might be some in New York City. I loved Foley's, but that closed, is in Green Bay. It's another reason I love Green Bay. It's called St. Brendan's Inn. And you can get drunk and stay there because it's a bed and breakfast. I think I already talked about this on last week's. But anyway, you should always go to a Packer game if you ever had a chance in your life. You don't even need to go in the game, just to go for the parking lot. Their people are so nice. If you don't have, you can walk through there hungry and thirsty, and you will leave full and vomiting beer. That's how friendly they are. Like, oh no, Kathleen, is that Kathleen Madigan? You don't have a hot dog. You want a hot dog? They'll just give you shit. And they have giant TVs. I don't know how they're even hooked up. As far as tailgating goes, I've been to many. And I'm going to give props to Green Bay for the setup and the friendly level. Super duper friendly. And it's just so wonderful. And it's like in a subdivision. It's such a, you wouldn't think driving down the street where you're going to the Packers Stadium, you would not think, if I keep going down this road, there will be a stadium. You would think, these are some ranch Midwest homes from, the 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, just very low-key.
They're all green and gold.
Yeah, I guess somebody said Bart Starr used to live, the old quarterback from the Packers, he used to live in one of those, and people would just come up and knock on his door and ask for a signed picture, and he had like a stack by the front door, and he would just hand you one. I'm like,
that's great.
That's very friendly. That's fan-friendly, Ron White. That is called fan-friendly, when you just let the fans come right up and knock on your door. One time I told Lewis that I thought it was crazy because he has his name on his thing in New York outside. It just says Lewis Black, then whatever.
Penthouse B.
Penthouse B. And I'm like, dude, you should probably not put your name right. There could be crazy people. He's like, yeah, but, maybe they're good looking. I'm like, okay. All right. Okay. So I think, that's what we're drinking, some Spotted Cow. I would recommend, too, as a beer drinker, if you're going to get a pitcher of Spotted Cow, I would recommend You've Eaten, because it's a high alcohol content and it'll sneak up on you. What are we eating? Well, I tried these. They're pretty good. It's called Smucker's Uncrustable Taco Bites. Throw them in the microwave. Pretty damn good. I wouldn't say an A+. For microwavable junk food, I'd give it a B+.
Taco Bell's better.
Taco Bell Cheddar Crisp. This is the fire. I can't say I loved it. And I do like a cheddar crisp, and I think that's a keto thing. I don't remember. Then this is just the mild Taco Bell. Once again, It tastes like a cheddar crisp. Yeah. I love Taco Bell. I love everything about it, but I don't think they should be branching out. These don't taste right. Nah,
Neither does Taco Bell.
that's how you can tell these aren't prepaid ads. Nah, doesn't taste right. All right. Couple more things you should know, especially about bad junk food. FYI, who's got Hot Pockets in their freezer? Besides Jim Gaffigan. Hot Pockets recalled over potential glass and plastic contamination.
What?
I'm not kidding. Those Hot Pockets in your freezer could contain something more dangerous than piping hot cheese. Nestle Prepared Foods is recalling. How do you... I mean, here's the thing. If I walked into my Kroger with my Hot Pockets and said, I heard these have glass in them, what's crazy is how much millennials don't care about anything. Not even in a bad way. They're not even millennials. Everybody uses that term wrong, including myself. Anybody under my age, I call a millennial, and that's not right. I'm talking about the 20-somethings, whatever that generation is called, because millennials, I think, are almost 40s at least. I went into Target. This is where I don't know, maybe I'm turning into an old person, but I bought ink for this. This is why we may have a couple more ads on this show, people. This shit is not cheap. And I put the ink thing in the printer, and I printed, and blank pages came out. It was an empty black cartridge. So I took it back to Target, and it's like a 20-something. And I said, hey, I know this sounds weird. So I'm starting the explanation of, hey, this may sound weird, but because I'm sure people try to rip off ink because it's so expensive. They lock up razors. I mean, you bet your ass they're locking up the ink. And I said, but there was no ink in this thing, and I just want to see if I could switch it out for, she goes, I really don't care. Just go get another ink. So she's like looking at me like, listen, old lady, I don't give a shit about your 2-bit story you made up on the way here, which I did not. It was empty. I can't lie like that. I'm not morally a wonderful person. I just never do it right. I am not a good liar. Nestle Prepared Foods is recalling certain pepperoni Hot Pockets over concern they may be contaminated with pieces of glass and hard plastic. U.S. Department of Agriculture and Food Safety and Inspection announced. The Class 1 recalls applies to 54-ounce 12 packs of pepperoni, my favorite, Hot Pockets, with a best by date of February 2022. And then there's a bunch of lot codes. I'm not going to read all these because it's boring. But if you have some Hot Pockets in your freezer, don't say you weren't warned before you eat some glass. Get that back to Kroger. That's the other thing, though, at Kroger. I like Kroger because if I walked in there and go, I read that there was glass in these, they'd be like, totally. And just let me go get more. Here's another update on food. I don't know about this. Do you guys have a Shake Shack near you? It's all the rage in certain cities. Shake Shack is kicking off 2021 by introducing a new contender to the fast food industry's already crowded chicken sandwich war. The burger chain announced the rollout of its Korean-style fried chicken sandwich and Korean-style gochujang chicken bites.
Oh, delicious.
But see, they spelled it chicken apostrophe. No, you can't do chicken or it's chicken in bites, whatever. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not going for, no, I don't think that's going to work. That's what they decided to go weird. They decided because Popeyes and Chick-fil-A and everybody else already had Zaxby's, yeah. And so they're going to go Korean fried chicken. I mean, can you really beat American fried chicken?
No.
I don't think so.
KFC is the best.
Well, KFC is the best. At the end of the day, no, Popeyes is really fucking good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's really good.
Some Louisiana
Ron
sauce.
White's favorite fast food of all time. Okay, people, we have a lot of updates. Okay, remember when I told you? This was extremely strange. For when I told you they were going to let somebody blow up Trump's casino in Atlantic City. It's not even his anymore. I think Carl Icahn bought it, but they've canceled that. And this is an article from Breaking AC, which is Breaking Atlantic City, meaning breaking news. Trump Plaza was canceled, but the Boys and City Girls Club will still benefit. The brainchild of Mayor Marty Small looked to use the long-awaited demolition of the Cheddar Casino to benefit the Boys and Girls Club. Remember, you could bid. His goal was $1 million. While the demolition is still planned, the auction is not happening. Aww. With the top bid at $175,000, Bodner's auction house announced there would be no auction after the owner's attorney told the city to cease and desist. You know, play along. Come on. There's just not that. Sometimes Atlantic City needs a little boost, you know, a little bit of fun. And then attorneys for IEPAC Plaza LLC, a subsidiary controlled by Carl Icahn. Who's Carl Icahn? TWA. That's right. Yeah, sent a letter saying they are not on board with the situation and would no way participate to help facilitate, citing safety issues. There's no safety issue. Somebody gets to press a button, you put a hard hat on said person, and then you say, run your ass off. As soon as you hit that button, run your ass off. The great city of Atlantic City agrees with owner Carl Icahn that public health and safety is the most important thing. That's the reason we fought to get this building down in the first place. Right, well, they're not going to do it any differently. It's a ceremonial thing. Come on. The person with the button probably ain't really doing it anyway. You know, there's people that are qualified. It should be called an implosion, where it goes inward. Storms last year sent pieces of the building's facade onto the boardwalk. You know, sometimes the Atlantic City boardwalk can be a little depressing anyway. The last thing you would want to do is get yourself all hyped up, as I've done in the past, and go, you know what, damn it, I don't care if the weather's shitty. I'm walking down the boardwalk. I'm going to go for a 4-mile walk up and down the boardwalk. And then you get yourself geared up. Oh, because to go see my cats that live under the boardwalk. And then, boom, half of a building facade falls on your head. Now you have a broken neck. It's just, Atlantic City's got so many problems. Despite canceling the auction, Icahn has vowed to donate the money promised at the last highest bid, $175,000 to the Boys and Girls Club. Well, I'd like to see a receipt for that because I don't trust that man. I want to be clear, it's extremely important for the city of Atlantic City to continue a strong working relationship with Mr. Icahn. Yeah, it is, because he has all the money. I can't even, how old is he? Oh, I forgot to start off with my quote, too. I'll look it up. But then I kept reading the article, and then it said, and then Jimmy Kimmel did something about it. And then it said, I'm going to see if I can bid on this. Comedian Kathleen Madigan said on her Pubcast, we got quoted. I'm reading it going, holy shit, that's me. Right. I didn't even, yeah, they said how many places I've worked there, and all. Very nice. Shout out Atlantic City. I will always still go work in Atlantic City, and I love to gamble at the Borgata. That's where me and Lewis have both hit a royal flush. And I will not tell you where in the Borgata, because those machines are secret for me and Luke. Okay, I'm going to read you. In honor of Larry King dying, we will put my Larry King joke that I used to do in my act 100 years ago. We'll put it in the show notes. It's on my Twitter. It's silly. He really did have Liza Minnelli on one time, though. And I mean, it was just a shit show of hilarious. I mean, she's funny. She has a good sense of humor. He doesn't half the time. I don't even think he knew if she was kidding or not. So in honor of Larry dying, and God, he made it through ICU. He made it through COVID, and then he gets sent home, and he dies 3 weeks later. But, I mean, how much fight do you have? What did he weigh? 74? You know, you can't.
He weighed less than his age.
And I think he had like 8 heart attacks. And he really did, for a little man, a tiny, skinny man, he put up a hell of a fight. He wrote, this is his quote. This is in honor of Larry. I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening. So, with that being said, I should shut up. But I'm going to keep talking for another little while here. And then another quote he has is, those who have succeeded at anything and don't mention luck are kidding themselves. I agree with that. There's a lot of people, especially in my business, that get very big heads and start to believe their own press. And there is luck. You know, would Brady be the greatest quarterback ever, at least of our generation? Let's say if he'd have been hit by a bus. No. Well, that's luck. He's lucky. He hasn't gotten seriously injured. There's luck involved. Look at Joe Theismann. Boom, snap your leg in half and throw it like a chicken bone. Done. So, I agree with Larry on both accounts. I don't learn anything while I'm talking, because obviously, well, sometimes when I'm reading out loud, but that's not really talking per se. I know what he means. And I think he's kind of right. So, moving on. I've been waiting for this. It's okay. So this is a wrap up, because we know we try not to go deep into politics here. But you guys know I'm a little obsessed with the Q people. And I was saying what happens to a cult when the predictions of the cult don't happen. Well, I'm going to tell you what's happening in Q world. Because usually when it gets too crazy, with a lot of cults, like did you guys go watch the one about the Hale-Bopp Comet people, King Doe? I can't think of the name. It was good. It was fine. But like at one time that cult was up to 3,000 people. And by the time they killed themselves at that fancy house in San Diego, there was only like 30 to 50 of them left. Not that that's not a lot of people to kill themselves, it is, but that's how small the cult had gotten. So my theory is with cults, who's ever left ends up killing themselves or it disbands. So, because I do put Q in the group of a cult, here's what, because all that shit was supposed to happen on Inauguration Day, and none of it happened. So then what? So here's what. For years, the believers of QAnon's conspiracy theory had been waiting for a moment when the grand plan would be put into action. They call it the storm. It wasn't mentioned on my weather bug app. And secret members of a supposed satanic pedophile ring at the highest ranks of government and Hollywood would suddenly be exposed, rounded up, and even possibly publicly executed. They were nearly always sure it was right around the corner, but the storm never came. And the moment of Joe Biden's inauguration was the last possible opportunity for Donald Trump to put the plan in motion. But as Biden raised his hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution, becoming the nation's 46th president, nothing happened. Womp, womp. What did I tell you guys? The hillbillies and the rednecks and the crazies sucker punched the United States government once. You sucker punch a giant, you can get away with it once. But you will not do it twice. They won't even have the wherewithal to do it twice, as I said, and they didn't, and nothing happened. But here's what they think is going to happen now. Well, here's what they're left with. The QAnon adherents went into a frenzy of confusion and disbelief, almost instantly shattering a collective delusion that had been nurtured and amplified by many on the far right, including Donald himself. I don't know, Q. I know they like me, and I know they don't like pedophiles. So what's not to like? Well, he wasn't wrong there, I guess, except he knows a lot more. Now, in addition to being scattered to various smaller websites after Facebook and Twitter cracked down on Q-related content. Crackdown? Facebook, let's get on the facial book. Yeah, I bet we can find a whole lot of Q shit right now. And I don't think it would be difficult. Believers risk having their own topsy-turvy world turned upside down, or perhaps right side up. Members of Q, focused Telegram channel, and some users on the image board 4chan, remember that? We talked about that. It's a message board. I don't do message boards, so I just know 4chan is part. They vowed to keep the faith. Other members proclaimed they were renouncing their beliefs. Still, others devised new theories. See, this is where we go into, well, what it meant that purported to push the ultimate showdown further into the future. One of the ideology's most visible icons, Ron Watkins, who goes by the name online moniker Code Monkey Z, told his supporter to go back to our lives. Uh-oh. The most hardcore Q followers are in disarray, said Daniel Jones, president of Advanced Democracy, a nonpartisan nonprofit that tracks extremist groups and misinformation online. After years of waiting for the Great Awakening, Q adherents seem genuinely shocked to see President Biden successfully inaugurated. A significant percentage of online are writing that they are now done with Q, while others are doubling down and promoting new conspiracy theories. A smattering of reactions underscores the uncertain future of the Q movement, which tech companies had allowed to on their platforms over the years, but didn't start taking action in earnest until 2020. The baseless conspiracy theory has been circulating since 2017, in addition to alleging a vast child trafficking conspiracy. Those who were drawn in claim the government bureaucrats compromising a deep state. Right, all the people are in that. everybody's in the deep state. If you're not in Q, you're part of the deep state, which would include me. I'm part of the deep state, which is weird because I don't even really know what it is, but I guess I'm in it. We're quietly working to undermine Trump's agenda. Trump himself fueled the claims by refusing to publicly denounce them on national television. That's right. And people identifying as part of the Q were part of the mob of Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol earlier this month. The shaman guy, the guy with I called it the rabbit horns with the fur. He is, he's in jail. I can't remember if we talked about this. He demanded organic food. They said yes. He's also now blaming Trump. He said Trump told him to do it. He heard it. He read it. He did it. He's blaming it on Trump. But the thing is, Trump is gone now, so I don't know how much. As the news tightens around the deep state, some people are becoming more and more desperate to discredit Q, one Chan user posted. I guess what they say is true. The flak is heaviest over the target. But after Biden's swearing in came and went, panic set in. We were promised arrest, exposures, military regime, classified documents. Where is it? Wrote one of the Q members. I'm scared, feeling sick to my stomach, but I'm still holding the line. Another one said, well, babies are still being raped and eaten any fucking minute now. God, another one said. Biden is our president. It's time to get off our devices and get back into reality. Well, here's somebody on the right track. You don't want to be.
Babies are being eaten.
Well, they think people like Hillary Clinton and I think Tom Hanks, they think they steal children and then rape them and eat them.
Baby Shoe Madigan would know this.
Baby Shoe Madigan has nothing to do with pedophilia. Baby Shoe Madigan is only a bank robber. Maybe other petty crimes. Selling cigarettes on the side. Out of a car. Trunk.
It's a hot mess. The plan was so much more powerful in the abstract than anything you could offer in the real world to counter it. By now, Q supporters are increasingly confronted by reality. The result, cognitive dissonance, could break them with potentially devastating consequences. So it's I'm going to see if there's any more quotes because, no, that's about it. They're freaking the hell out. Half of them are just leaving, and then half are going, well, they meant March. No, it's not supposed to happen on Inauguration Day. It's supposed to happen on St. Pat's Day when no one's paying attention. What did we learn there, people? Don't put your life's theories in a guy called Code Monkey Z. Why are you going to Washington, Kathleen? Code Monkey Z told me to. Code Monkey Z. What the fuck is wrong with people? This is what's wrong with people. But I have a big problem with anonymity too. On Facebook, you can make up an account. I'm not going to even tell you how to do it, but I know how to do it. Twitter, I'm me because I'm a public figure, but you don't have to be you. Monkey Balls 1948 can say anything they want to me. And I think anonymity breeds a lot of problems because if people had to be accountable for the shit they say, I think, and then people go,
Yeah, but half the fun of it is that you can be anonymous.
well, sometimes our fun toys get taken away because some people take the fun toys and do bad things with them. That's how that goes. That's our cue. I'll let you know. I do have an update on the lady who took the private jet from Dallas, but I forgot to print it out. I'll do it next week because she's trying to blame Trump too. They're all trying to blame Trump, and he ain't coming to their rescue. This is I remember one time I was watching Oprah like 100 years ago, and somebody was on, somebody famous, I don't know, like a Julia Roberts or something. And she said, the famous person said to Oprah, I mean, Oprah's famous too, do you have any regrets? And Oprah goes, no, I don't spend time on regrets because I just need to, everything I've done has made me wiser and made me the person I am today, so I don't have any regrets. And I thought, really? Because I could start a list of about 25 things. Did I really need to get drunk with Ron White and go to Mexico and ride a donkey? No.
Fun though.
At the time, wasn't fun the next day. Headache, we're in the wrong places, we're not where we're supposed to be, we're in trouble. It did not make me a better person. That day could have gone with, hey, I'm gonna have 3 beers and go to bed. that would have been a better thing than what happened, albeit fun for a little while. So I think regrets are good. I think you should have regrets because you should dwell on them, but they're supposed to be learning things. You just go, no, I don't have time for regrets. I don't do regrets. Don't do regrets. Here's a guy with a regret. Ready for this? Man who threw away Bitcoin haul, now worth over 80 million, wants to dig up a landfill site. You want to talk about, shit, I threw that out? A British man said he accidentally threw away over $80 million worth of Bitcoin. James Howell, an IT worker from Newport, claims to have unintentionally dumped 7,500 Bitcoin in mid-2013. Okay, so back then, Bitcoin wasn't a big deal, but he's now planning to find them, but he isn't sure how, as he believes the hard drive he saved them to is currently buried in a landfill site. Oh my God. The value of the cryptocurrency was around $130 at the time Howells claims to have thrown the hard drive away. It is currently worth 11,300. So at the time, I don't know how they're adding this up. It would have been worth around 975,000. Today, that would be worth 85 million. So he is willing to spend 80 million. Where's he going to get 80? You'd have to get a sponsor, I guess. Maybe Taco Bell. Maybe he could call the. Well, who does digging? John Deere? No, that Bobcat. Who makes equipment that digs like that? Cranes. I don't know who makes cranes. Here's his story. After I stopped mining, so he was mining Bitcoins. That's very, very difficult, and it's almost out of even the realm of individuals anymore. Now it's like computers go mining for the Bitcoins. But back then, if you were smart, you could do it. The laptop I used was broken into parts and sold on eBay. However, who the fuck, how could you do that? If I broke my laptop, the last thing I would do is look at it and go, you know what, I'm going to take these parts apart and sell it on eBay. I don't even know what you would call the parts. I wouldn't even know how to do that. But anyway, this guy did. I kept the hard drive in a drawer at home knowing it contained my Bitcoin private keys. So if Bitcoin did become valuable one day, I would still have the coins I mined. In mid-2013, during a clear out, the hard drive, then worth a few £1,000s, was mistakenly thrown out. By whom? Whom? Roommate? Wife? Husband? Partner? Who did it?
Dog.
I'd kill him. Oh my God. Thrown out into a general waste bin at the local landfill site, after which it was then buried on the site. He had previously said he forgot about the hard drive because he's been distracted by family life and moving house. That's not me misreading that. Moving house. I guess that's how the Brits would say it. Are you moving house? Yes, I am. I'm definitely. Howells said he started mining Bitcoin in 2009 using his computer to solve complex mathematical problems to earn rewards. That's how you mine a Bitcoin. You have to figure out this giant computer problem. That's why now they've become so difficult. You probably, I don't know, maybe some people can do it on their own, but people are paying for computers that do nothing but that. He says now he's considering digging up the landfill in order to find the lost hard drive. A modern landfill is a complex engineering project, and digging one up brings all sorts of environmental issues such as dangerous gases, oh my God, and potential landfill fires. It's a big, expensive, risky project. Howell's story isn't unique. Campbell Simpson, the editor of Gizmodo Australia, says he threw away a hard drive in 2012 that had 1,400 Bitcoin on it. Holy shit. Wow. That'd be worth 15 million today. In May 2010, developer Laszlo Hanias completed what is to believe the first real-world Bitcoin transaction by paying 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. That's all, he did the rest of that. But, don't tell me people don't have regrets that are, what has he learned from this? Don't throw shit away if you're not sure what's in it. If it's important, don't put it in your throw it away shit piles. How about that? Because anything in my junk drawer at any moment could be thrown away. So if I had mined some Bitcoins, guess where they would not live? In my junk drawer. They would not live in the office behind shit because I'd liable to throw that stuff away in a fit of what is all this crap, and then I just start throwing stuff out. Update. Another update. Okay, Banksy. We've talked about Banksy, the street artist, right? Well, there's one in India. They call him Indian Banksy. His name is Tyler. That's what he goes by. And he wears a mask and he paints all over it. So this is just if you want to go on Instagram or online and look at his stuff. And it's good, but I don't understand how it's not ripping off Banksy. The whole concept. I'm anonymous, and his paintings, they're very good, but they look a lot like I don't know how Banksy, maybe, my dad always says sarcasm and mimicry are the highest forms of flatterism, but still, at some point, you're like, dude, you're just doing what I'm doing. Like, you got to think of something new. His started appearing 2015. He had his first solo exhibition at Method in Kalaguda and Bandra, somewhere in India, I don't know. But if you want to go look at it, kind of a Banksy type guy, it's good. He's got one of Gandhi that's really, really good. But a lot of them, I don't know. I just think I don't know how you get away with that. I feel like it's hacking the guy's idea. But anyway, the creativity of being anonymous and doing, I guess people have done it before. I don't know. If you want to go look at him, Tyler. Just Google Indian Banksy Tyler. You can go look at this stuff. Just
Be in the show notes.
Be in the show notes. It's just because I like art and like that kind of stuff. Here's a great piece of information for coming up. Sarah Thomas headlines 2021 Super Bowl. Crew is the first woman to officiate NFL's championship.
Boom.
It's good for her. I saw her last week on this. I'm like, look, there's a lady ref. That's great. And but nobody's ever done it at the Super Bowl. A woman. NFL announced its official 8-person officiating crew for Super Bowl. LV. I can't do L's. I know Roman numerals, but I never know L.
It's the one in Tampa.
Well, I know it's in Tampa, but what is that number? What's LV? Look it up, Pedals. 50? No. I know X's and I know I's. I don't know L's. What is LV?
55.
55. Oh, wow. In doing so, it marked a historical achievement for Sarah Thomas. 6 years after becoming the first full-time female official in league history, she's now set to become the first woman to officiate a Super Bowl, teaming up with 21-year veteran Carl Schaffers on this year's officiating crew. So that's awesome. I really hope, for her sake, there's no controversial play that involves her. Because then they're going to go, see, a chick can't do this. I prefer no problems, and then everybody goes, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. She's done a good job so far. Why not?
Well done.
Now, one of my favorite segments, animals that can kill you in your state. We have moved on to Maine. What do you think, Paddles? What's going to kill you in Maine?
Rabid lobster.
No. It will not be. Come on, you know this.
In Maine?
Maine.
Shark.
Maine.
Shark.
Shark. Nobody's in the water in Maine. It's too flippin'
That's
cold.
why the sharks are there.
No. Moose.
Moose?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's minimal
They can
data
fuck you
from
up.
Maine on animal-related deaths. However, there are a few dangerous animals running around in the northern rural retreat. One of the more dangerous critters is the moose, with its massive size and territorial attitude. These huge herbivores put up high premium on privacy, and they will usually only charge humans, it's very tiny print, if they are disturbed and see no other options.
They do.
Maryland. What do you think is going to kill you in Maryland?
Terrapin.
A terrapin, right. Maryland, the great state, the home of who? My research assistant, Lewis Black, is from Silver Spring, Maryland. A lot of people don't know that. And then one of my sister's friends got really drunk. Me and Lou did this benefit. And Lou said, he says he's from Baltimore because a lot of people don't know where Midwest people wouldn't know where really Silver Spring, Maryland is. And my sister's friend goes, Baltimore! She had had so many drinks. She's so funny. She goes, who would even say that? I'm like, that's where he's from. What? It was just such a crazy reaction. I can't say her name because she might get mad at me, but it made me laugh. For like a year, that's all I did was go, you're from Baltimore? Who says that? It's the home of Edgar Allan Poe. Come on. Here's what's going to kill you in Maryland. It's kind of a cop-out. Bees and other stinging insects.
Come on.
I know.
No.
They don't have anything really. Along with several of the other states on the eastern seaboard, the CDC lists Maryland, Maine, main animal problem is stinging flying insects. Although a single bee sting isn't fatal, we all know that. Multiple can get an allergic reaction. Some high school kids in Montgomery County, Maryland, found out exactly how dangerous bees. After one student kicked a beehive, the entire hive came storming out and attacked the group of kids. Several dozens were stung and taken to the hospital. One student summed up the situation very well, saying, "They told me someone kicked it," and I'm like, well, why would you kick a beehive? That's just so dumb.
Amen.
Well,
You can't count that when somebody kicked it.
I don't count. It's just that was a disappointing two-stater. But you know
Yes.
what? We do it every week. So here's something not so disappointing as far as stupidity goes. Ready for this? My neighboring state, Oklahoma who? Homa who? Carrie Underpants. Carrie, what's her real name? Carrie Underwood. Or as my dad goes, is that gal gonna come over and sing? Last time he was over here watching Monday Night Football. Yes, Dad, that country gal is going on to sing. Well, she's really cute. Yep, she's very cute. Here's what's going on. Oh, Oklahoma is also, I believe, the home of Garth Brooks.
Yes.
And definitely home of Reba McEntire.
And Toby Keith.
Toby Keith? Mm-hmm. A lot of country folk coming out of there. Oklahoma State Rep. Justin Humphrey is no stranger to talking about what you can call some pretty controversial stances, things like on abortion access, gay rights, and police brutality. I can tell by Justin's headshot, not to just be completely stereotypical, but I would bet these things about Justin. Now you can add Bigfoot to the list. This week, Humphrey filed an official bill calling for the creation of a yearly Bigfoot hunting season.
Yeah!
Okay. Do you know what a shit show? No. Now you're just going to have people shooting each other going, I didn't think he'd wear a black hoodie. I thought it was Bigfoot. Because he's going to give a reward to. Listen to this shit. This is.
What?
Well, I used to do a joke. They used to have, they probably still do. They have laws in the state of Washington of what will happen to you if you kill Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Canada, too.
But I'm like, yeah, but now we're making laws up about imaginary creatures so far. I mean, I believe in Bigfoot, but right now it's still an imaginary creature. So why do we have laws about the tooth fairy? Here's what happens if you rape the tooth fairy. Watch out, jackass. You're going to prison for like 150 years. Don't touch the tooth. It's just ridiculous. Aside from setting the rules for hunting this hairy animal, House Bill 1648, which you could read here, and then I tried to print it out, and it was crazy. It was way too long and way too wordy. Would also direct the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation to set the dates when this season would take place and any Bigfoot-specific hunting licenses or fees. Now,
Is he a Tea Party guy?
I don't even think the Tea Party would have this guy. He's rogue. Well, I'm just going to call this guy rogue. Rogahoma. He is Rogahoma. Humphrey explained in a statement that he plans to work with this state's Wildlife and Tourism Department to hammer out the final languages of bill to clarify that the goal isn't to kill the elusive Bigfoot, but to trap for it.
What? Oh.
Well, there's people doing that now anyway. I'm sure there are. I don't know that for a fact, but I know some comedians that were obsessed with finding Bigfoot. Not me, because I was told I couldn't go if I smoked. What? And they said, no, he has a heightened sense of smell. Seriously, they were going to go up, these comedians, friends, and they were from, all over the country. They weren't like California. They were from everywhere. And we were going to start in California and go to Washington. And this one guy, Scott, that's all he did was research Bigfoot when we were off, which, by the way, is 23 hours a day. That's a lot of goddamn time to research Bigfoot. And I just thought it'd be fun to camp, and I thought these guys seemed safe. They seemed to, I wouldn't be in danger if I was with them. And then that was back when I smoked a lot of cigs. And Scott's like, well, if you go, you can't smoke any cigarettes. I said, why not? Well, he has a heightened sense of smell. We don't even know if he's real, and you're already giving him attributes. You're telling me. I didn't go. They went. They did get some crazy videos, I will say. I don't really know what I was looking at, but there was fear. There was a lot of fear. So he wants them to trap it, and I think people are already doing that. What we can assume, to trap it, what we can only assume are for top secret Bigfoot research purposes. He added that he also plans to secure at least a $25,000 bounty for the first person that can trap it. There's plenty of native Oklahomans who will say their state is the biggest hub for Bigfoot activity. And you know, I have read that too. And I watch that show occasionally. I haven't watched it in a long time, the Hunting for Bigfoot thing, because they just, never catch it. So there's no ending, really. It could go on forever, or just people in the woods until somebody, I think like a logging company or somebody eventually will come upon one, if there is one. But Oklahoma, what's weird is a lot of Oklahoma is just flat and there's not a lot of trees. But there are areas of Oklahoma, like why would he just be walking out in the open like that? That'd be like saying he lives in Iowa. But parts of Oklahoma do have a lot of trees and woods and like rivers and all that. So maybe that's where he hangs out. I don't know specifically in Oklahoma where, but I do hear that state come up a lot, and it always shocks me because I've driven through Oklahoma and it just didn't seem like a good hiding spot.
When is the season?
Well, they haven't established, I'm going to answer that. I don't know when the season is. Establishing and actually hunting season and issuing licenses for people who want to hunt Bigfoot. Stop calling it hunting if it's trapping, because hunt implies to me shooting. And then you're just going to shoot people. There's going to be some farmer, rancher who gets out of his truck in black jeans and a black hood with the hood up, and boom. Oh shit, we done shot Carl. I thought it was a Bigfoot. A lot of people don't believe in Bigfoot, but a lot of people do. Just like some like to go deer hunting, while some don't. You can add the you can add the aforementioned wildlife department to that list of skeptics. A staffer at the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife and Conservation bluntly told one ABC News affiliate they don't recognize Bigfoot in the state of Oklahoma, and this was the first they were hearing of this proposal. Even true Bigfoot believers don't seem to be on board with the bill. D.W. Lee, who leads the Mid-American Bigfoot Research Center, told another local news station that he didn't see how the bill is anything more than a misguided cash grab. Yeah, I don't care about the license money. It's like getting a fishing license. It's like $10 and it goes to conservation. People wonder, how do you have nice lakes? How do you have the woods? Well, a conservation department, and they really do work their ass off. When people say the government doesn't work well, I'm like, go look at your lakes. Go look at your boat ramps. Go look at all the woods that are properly maintained. Like, they do a lot and they get no credit. I always feel sorry for the conservation people. But anyway, not feel sorry, but I just don't think they get enough credit. It gives the idea, this is them saying it, it gives the idea that people can go out and shoot any two-legged thing that's out in the woods. I agree. And what's going to happen when they shoot at somebody that's got a black hoodie on? It's dangerous to even consider. Exactly. I'm with this guy. Some Oklahoma residents seem to agree, at least according to a Reddit thread sparked by the news of the bill. One snidely called Humphrey's idea I shot some hairy person thinking he was Bigfoot bill. Should the Bigfoot bill pass, it'll go into action by November 1st. So you have time, people, to go buy your Bigfoot traps. I don't know what those would look like old-timey, those kind of traps. I don't know.
Like for a bear.
Yeah, a bear trap. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Bullshit.
How much do those cost on Amazon?
I don't know, a lot.
Giggle it. See if we can buy one.
Okay. How much is a bear trap?
All right. Let's just find out.
Oh my god.
Do they sell them?
Yeah.
Amazon sells them?
Yeah.
How much?
$70.
$70?
But the ones that are guaranteed, which I would recommend.
The guaranteed ones are
$200.
$200. Yeah. Oh, okay. That $70 one would catch him like a fox.
Yeah, and then I'll come after you.
Which, by the way, if you've ever seen my Instagram videos, my foxes are back. They're out again. Probably because maybe because some lady has been throwing a little extra chicken out there. All right, this, I don't know why this makes me laugh so hard. You guys gotta go see the video of this too. We'll put it in the show notes, but this is in Thailand. A gang of more than 100 monkeys has raided a farm to steal food in Thailand after the lack of tourists due to COVID cut off the regular food supply. And the Thai people are scared shitless of them.
The monkeys?
Yeah, they're mean, and aggressive. Video footage shows adult and baby monkeys, which are normally fed by tourists, racing to grab chunks of corn to eat in the Nakhon Rachisma province on January 18th. The villagers could only watch from afar as the creatures ravaged their crops. One of the farmers said he dare not stop the animals as there were too many and they could become aggressive. This is what I would say as a note to actual gang members, Bloods and Crips. Are those guys still happening? MS-13. Not that I'm here to give gang advice, but if I wanted to be a really bitchin' gang guy, like the leader, I would have 100 monkeys. And then don't feed them for a couple days. And then when you say we're going into their hood, you take your monkeys and all hell breaks loose. There's video of them doing it online. Imagine having to stop more than 100 hungry monkeys, so we just let them eat the crops. As the farm is close to the national park, other animals such as elephants, cattle, and bulls have raided the area before to search for food. The monkey gang emerged from the Khao Phang Ma Nan hunting area and the national park where they live. Recorded from inside a car, the footage showed the driver slowly creeping up on the dusty road as the monkeys ran across the vehicles. Like they're going crazy. It's like Monkey Shines, that movie. Panning to the right of the car, the person filmed showed a number of other monkeys hiding among the foliage before chasing after the rest of the gang. They used to be fed with snacks by the tourists, but due to the pandemic, we know that some of the animals have also taken over the road, appearing to move to the next place while carrying their babies when they have finished eating the corn. The devastated farmers sought help from the local government so they can be compensated for the crops and prevent the incident from happening again. You ain't stopping these monkeys.
No.
If they want it to happen again, it's happening. It's the storm. Here's your storm. 100 pissed off, starving monkeys. In March 2020, just 800,000 came to Thailand, tourists, compared to 3.4 million in 2019, with the country closing its borders to tourists for the month of April. In quarters 2 and 3 of 2020, virtually no tourists have arrived in Thailand, with the latest available figures. It's been overrun. Oh, there's a city called Lop Buri, around 30 miles west of the edge of the Nakahan Racha Simias, whatever province, has been run over by the monkeys. That city,
Wow.
Lop Buri, is home to 8,400. Yep, and they were a major tourist attraction. Even I love like any kind of crazy animal, but monkeys bite. I've been bitten by a monkey.
What?
Yep.
When?
When I was super little, across the street from our house, there was this weird dude. He was super weird. Like, I shouldn't have done what I did. Here's another regret. Here's one, Oprah. I knew he had exotic animals, and I knew it. My dad always said, don't go over there. Do not go near that man. He was probably a pervert, pedophile or something. I don't know. But one day he said, do you want to see my monkeys? And I was like 5, or I don't know, 6. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see monkeys. Even though I knew I'm not supposed to go in, and I did it. And then I went to like pet one, and it bit my finger. Not badly, but they can have diseases and stuff.
Yes. God.
I'm on an animal thing here, and then I'm going to get off the animals. But this is pretty cool. The fossilized bones of a dinosaur unearthed in Argentina just now would have stomped the earth nearly 98 million years ago, may have been the largest land animal ever. What's the biggest thing on earth right now? The biggest? The whale.
Animal?
Blue whale.
Yeah, blue whale.
But that's in the water. So they're thinking this guy, this dinosaur. No. Well, they're saying that it ever could have lived.
Oh, infinity.
Well, local paleontologists found the remains, which include 24 vertebrae from the creature's tail and some adjacent pelvic bones in the Nukon province. It is believed to be a titanosaur. Wow, the Tennessee Titans should have taken that as their mascot. A titanosaur. One of the largest sauropods, the clade of dinosaurs characterized by their vast-sized pillar-like legs and elongated necks and tails. Yep. While the team was unable to confirm it is a new species of yet, the fossils do not appear to match with other known dinosaur remains. So it's a new one. So it's the biggest one. So just when you think T-Rex is dominating, nope, Titanosaur is here. And he's not
Fucking around.
not fucking around at all. So,
Titanosaur.
despite the new find, the title of largest animal ever is still held by the blue whale, which has been known to grow as big as 110 feet in length. And then they just say where they found it, and you can Google that if you want. Maybe I'll put that in the show notes. Titanosaur. Titanosaurus. No, Titanosaur. Titanosaur. Okay. Now, I have never steered you guys wrong so far, but I did. Because I told you to go watch a thing about the villages, because I wanted to talk about the villages. And then I went and spent $6.99. And I just don't think it was, I think the person is young. I'm going to read what he thought about this documentary about the villages, which if you've ever seen my act, I do a giant joke because my parents were there for quite a few years. They're not there anymore. They left and went to Sarasota on the other side where, I don't know. We don't need to go into that, but they left. They fled.
They don't like line dancing.
They had a very good time, but the political thing was heating up, and my dad can't really keep his mouth shut. He's gotten a lot better with age as far as not saying things. And then, I don't know, they golfed with this other couple. My mom's trying to make friends, and that guy happened to own coal mines. And then somehow by the 18th hole, my dad said, you may call yourself a coal mine owner, but I would call you a murderer. And as my mom says, that's not a way to make friends. You know, you can't be calling new people that you've invited to golf murderers, Dad. So anyway, the political climate down there can get kind of rocky. But with the things that have been happening in the political scene. But anyway, I've been there. I liked it. I mean, I don't want to live there right now. But it was a lot. There were a lot of fun things about the villages. And this guy, to me, forget about fun or not fun, I just feel like he missed it. Like he focused on 3 stories, maybe 4. One of the guys that he focused on didn't even live at the villages. He lived in a van, and then he'd go over and try to pick up chicks at the villages, which I guess you can do. You can't sleep in your van, because I kept thinking, boy, if my mom saw that van parked just randomly, the cops would be called immediately, because she knows, what do vans have? Serial killers. That's right. All of them. This guy lived in his van. He was like Mickey from Ray Donovan. He was very much like that guy. But I feel like the guy missed, it just comes off as super depressing and negative. And I do think those things happen. Yes, they're part of it. But he didn't, I don't know. I just feel like he missed it. This guy's 20 years old, and he made the document. And he's getting rave reviews for it. Stunning, uncanny film about the villages. But I would say to whoever wrote these things, have you been there?
Right.
Have you? Yeah. Because if there's a lot of positives about the place, and I'm not here to sell it or not sell it, but the golf there is really unbelievable. I mean, and there's a lot of it. And I laughed so hard at the amount of work some of these people would put into their golf carts. It was creative. It was fun. I mean, it's old people stuff, but I thought it was great.
Margarita machine on it. A margarita machine. The guy had one.
Yeah, one guy had a whole margarita machine. One guy made his like a steam car from, this is in the movie, but it doesn't come off, I don't know. I just think he missed, he's 20-something, which is fine, but I don't think he gets that a lot of old people down there they love it. I don't know for how long they love it, but they have a great, that's why there's 120,000 residents. The village, this is what I'm going to read to you about it, just because you may want to go watch it, but I just don't think, I feel like there's certain places that get one shot at a documentary. The Villages is one of them. It's a whole, I call them secret worlds. It's a world within a world that most people don't know about. And I feel like, you know, nobody's going to watch 2 documentaries on the Villages. So you hope the first one is great, but I don't know. I just felt like the entire vibe of the documentary was depressing. And I didn't feel that way at all when I visited there. Neither did my mom and dad. This is what the article, parts of it, I dumbed it down. I really edited this a lot, but I didn't edit anything important. The Villages seems like a place right out of a movie. It's America's largest retirement community, a sprawling gated complex straddling 3 counties in Florida, about 70 miles north, or as I used to say, if my mom's driving, 8.5 hours north of Orlando. Known for its role in the Donald Trump 2016 election win. They were very into that. As of 2019, the villages had more than 120,000 residents, as well as a long list of clubs for them to join and activities to participate in: synchronized swimming, golf cart drill team, theater, religion, cocktail parties. And like they showed some of that, but nobody looked like they were having fun. And they do. Shops, restaurant, the public square. My dad loved the public square. My mom said an 85-year-old hit on her and she was offended at the public square when she went to go get a malt. I was like, well, that's what you get for going down there single, looking all hot, Mom. You want to go down there and you want to be by yourself without Dad, you need to look like shit so you don't get hit on by some other old person. Shops, restaurant, public square. After an idealized version of an American small town, Main Street gives the villages a Disney-esque air. For some, it feels like a dream, a positive and peaceful place to retire among like-minded people, all of whom want to kick back, have fun, and live a happy life. But as with any planned community, like a college, for instance, there are plenty of people who can't, for whatever reason, buy into the fantasy. Right. But that's the minority. And I know he wants to focus on the minority, but then you get the impression there is no majority. I don't know. They may be lonely or ill, a field drift in the world that is thoroughly designed, but it may seemingly not for them. And those people live at the villages too. Lance Oppenheim was 22 when he first visited the village, hoping to make a college thesis film about the place. He ended up crafting a documentary, Some Kind of Heaven. That's what I said, the one I said to go watch. A stunning directorial debut, and the kind of work that far more experiences with director. I don't know. Then it's all the three people that he focuses on. To put it mildly, whoever wrote this, I don't know. I was bowled over by the film, which made me think about what makes people want to live in an idealized version of America and what communities in the villages will look like in the future, ahead of its release. And then he interviews with the guy. I was looking for people who were on the margins, the guy said, the director, who didn't exist in the same marketing brochure that everyone else did. Well, then I needed to know that. I needed to know what I'm going to watch before I give you $7. That this is not about the whole villages, this is about the people in the margins at the villages, which was depressing. I mean, and I don't mind depressing stuff if it's 100% we get the whole picture, but I don't feel we did. When you train a camera on the villages, this guy said, I wanted to find real people with real problems in an unreal place. I thought if I could look at the world through their point of view, the place would come alive in a different way. And it could feel more like the films that I grew up with, loving, like Edward Scissorhands. I never saw it. Or how suburbia looks in Todd Haynes is Safe. Never saw that either. I don't know. So he makes a movie. There's a lot of obvious ways you can make about the film about the villages. We finished this film in 2019. Obviously, a film could explore all the political stuff going on there. There's also a film that focuses on more institutions, maybe of a Frederick Wiseman film that could be done there too. I feel like I attempted to make a Wiseman-style film when I first got there, but looking into institutions of the place, I quickly realized I wouldn't have the access that I needed to have that kind of film, to make that kind of film. I don't know. Maybe I'll give the guy credit. Maybe they wouldn't let him. But it didn't seem like it because he went to the synchronized swimming. He has clips of that. He went to the golf cart deal. He went, I don't know.
A lot of line dancing.
A lot of dancing, yeah. When it comes to politics, the village is a conservative mecca. Even the marketing materials is conservative. The idea of trying to recreate an America of a different time. Yeah, but what time? The 60s were turbulent. The 70s, you can speak to Lewis Black about that. Apparently, everybody he knew joined a cult, except Lou. I'm like, what did your parents do to you guys that you all went, I'm going to run away with a 13-year-old Indian boy who says he's the reincarnation of some other person you don't even know? God, it's not like he said, I'm the reincarnated version of Jim Thorpe. I'd go, oh, wow, what a great athlete. Let's go follow that little guy. I don't know. He said, I hope that when people see it, they'll be able to engage more with the ideas behind why this demographic would be obsessed with something like that rather than making a more explicit political portrait. You don't need to do the politics, I understand that. But you just, I think, missed the point. There's 120,000 people there that clearly like it. The number keeps growing. Are they all they're not all the margin people. That's the definition of the margin. So many people, I think, are attracted to live there because they want to be told what to do and how to live. I don't think so. If you're able to relinquish any sense of your own individual self to live in this collective bubble, I'm sure there's probably some kind of euphoria that I personally don't think I would feel if I were to live there. I also wonder if it's a Floridian desire. So many people are moving there, especially retirees. No. That's why I when I stayed with my mom and dad the one time, I don't even remember what CD the jokes are on about the villages. Maybe Madigan again. I don't know. There was a newspaper it was like an entertainment newspaper type rag type thing, and I started flipping through it. I mean, there is the Italian American Club. Things you would never even think of. The Slovakian American Club, the Boston Patriots, just Patriot fan, like any single thing you can dream of, they have it. It's not just Florida people. Even the people in the movie aren't from Florida. I don't know. When I was thinking about this movie, I made a short tire about a retiree who'd been living exclusively on Royal Caribbean cruise ships for the past 20 years. There were similar qualities there. For him, it was utopia, this floating city where people were doing like sexiest man competition and eating giant hot dogs. And for that was for him, that was home. For me as an outside observer, it would be easy to be like, wow, this would be my worst nightmare. Yeah, but you're 20. These people are 80. They're done with the world. They're done. I mean, they're good. They've had enough of that, and they want to do what they want to do. I don't know. I feel bad that if anybody paid the... This is a kind of an interesting concept, though. I'm curious what the villages will look like after the baby boomers are no longer with us. Will they be forced to recreate another era, like the 80s or something? What are you going to make it? Like, where everybody's just going to be in the town square doing blow? Dancing to Madonna with a glow stick? Will a younger generation even want to live inside of like an imaginary paradise that reminds them of the nostalgia of the past? Maybe we're already doing it online. So many people are obsessed with Y2K and the nostalgia for the early internet days. I don't know. I don't think me and this man have anything in common. You can be your own self at the villages, or it's like saying at college. You can participate, or you can just live on campus and do your own thing. So I steered you wrong, but I'm going to steer you right here, because I did go watch this. Go watch Murder on Middle Beach on HBO. Murder on Middle Beach. I kept thinking that was a strange title. It's only 4 episodes. It's really good. That's a documentary done by a young man that I would say bombs away, A+, 100%, great documentary. And I'm obsessed with how this kid was so techie savvy to record every single conversation. Not that I have any reason or desire to do so, but he was really good at it. His mom got murdered. I'm not going to give it away. And then he goes to try to figure out what exactly happened because he was young-ish. And didn't, when you're a teenager, you're not really into all this. And now he is. It was great. And this is how bad of a detective I would make. Like 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, the ex-husband did it. 40 minutes into the movie, I'm like, well, that aunt. I don't know about that lady. 45 minutes, it's the niece. Another little narcissistic asshole. I think she did it. Then at some point, I thought the tri-state area did it. And it was possible because she was in a Ponzi scheme type thing. I can't explain it all, but it's fascinating to see. And then I thought maybe somebody's husband, it was a women's deal, maybe somebody's husband or partner or something got mad at that lady and killed her. And then after I decided the tri-state area did it, then I went back to the ex-husband. And I'm still sticking with, after watching all the episodes, it was so good that you guys can YouTube me on the comments. I want to see who you think did it. I say the ex-husband, for sure. He's the only one that you'll learn this in the show, first episode, so I'm not blowing anything. He and the wife were getting divorced. They had a court date that morning, and he had already not paid all this back child support and all this shit. He was going to have to pay a big-ass bill, and he was going to get thrown in jail if he couldn't do it, if he couldn't pay it. So that morning, his ex-wife is murdered. Nobody's that lucky. Nope. Nope. I kept reminding myself, too, because there's so many other cases where there's some other people, suspects, where you go, well, yeah. But then you're like, no, you can't be that lucky. Oh, I might go to jail today. I owe her 180 grand, whatever. Oh, she's murdered? Come on. Go watch it, though. It's so good. It's fascinating. just shows you too, they grew up with money. And somebody wrote, I think on my Twitter or something, that, just shows you can be completely, they were way more fucked up than our family had ever been. And they had like triple the amount of money. So money doesn't necessarily guarantee it. It does make it life a lot less stressful, I think. It can. And it can certainly make it more exciting. Like if I could just go drop $5,000 on scratch-off tickets at Speedway, I'd be really excited. Really change this Sunday around. Mm-hmm. This is crazy. This is true. And every comedian I know would be like, oh, that poor man. Man lived inside O'Hare Airport for 3 months before detection, prosecutors say.
What?
Yeah. This is in January 2017, 2021. Now, as comedians who we have to travel to every airport in the country and Canada sometimes, and sometimes let's just focus on the United States. O'Hare, and I love Chicago. I will do anything to fly into Midway rather than O'Hare. Going in and out of O'Hare, and I don't know if it's because of old school Chicago politics. There are I don't know if Chicago people go to other airports, but like Minneapolis, that place is just dynamite. You could spend, it's so modern looking, and there's shopping. Like if you got stuck in there for 3 months, you'd still have shit to do at the end of 3 months. You're like, oh, I found this. There's a Prince store with Prince t-shirts. Like, I mean, there are certain airports where you're like, this place is really great. O'Hare, no. Every time I'm there, me and Lewis, I go, this is what I think Poland looked like in the 60s. Now, why do I think that? Movies, I don't know. I've never been to Poland. Just gray. There's like a hot dog cart, which is wonderful. But some days I don't want a hot dog. There's no upgrades. There's no, and we all love Chicago. Like, I've had some of my funnest times in comedy ever at the downtown Zanies in Chicago, and just being around Second City, and at one time there was like 4 clubs right in that whole area. There was the Improv, there was a Funny Farm, and Funny Firm. I forget. I don't know. I just knew everybody there was doing cocaine except me, and it's a great town. I don't understand why. Like one time, me and this other comedian, Tom Papa, we did the Chicago Comedy Festival, and then we were leaving on the same flight. And we went out there, and a storm was rolling in, and I was like, oh, this is never good at O'Hare because of the wind. We're not getting out of here. So we had to spend hours and hours and hours killing time waiting to try to get the wind to settle down. And there's just nothing
to do but drink.
There's nothing to do but drink. And not that I'm opposed to that, but I'd at least like to be in a fun drinking place. There's one bar that's all hockey pucks. That one's kind of fun. There's a food court. It's all right. There's just nothing, I don't know. So this poor guy, or whatever you want to deem him, sneaky person, I don't know. A California man who police claim to be too afraid to fly due to COVID-19 hid out for 3 months in a secured area of O'Hare International Airport until his weekend arrest, prosecutors said Sunday. I'm going to try to say his name. Aditya Singh. Aditya Singh, like VJ Singh, 36 years old, is charged with felony criminal trespass to a restricted area of an airport and misdemeanor theft. In a bond court on Sunday, prosecutors said Singh arrived from O'Hare on a flight from LAX. See, he'd have been better staying in LAX. LAX has got stuff to do. It's not great, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, fine. On October 19th, and allegedly had lived in the airport's security zone ever since without detection. I mean, what the fuck, people? These are our airports. Like, how do you... Nobody saw him at night? County Cook Judge Susana Ortiz reacted incredulously Sunday after a prosecutor detailed the allegations. So, if I understand you correctly, Ortiz said, you're telling me that an unauthorized, non-employee individual was allegedly living within a secure port of the O'Hare Airport Terminal from October 19th, 2020 to January 16th, 2021, and was not detected. I want to understand you correctly. And the guy goes, yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Early Saturday afternoon, this is how he got caught. 2 United Airlines employees approached Singh and asked to see his identification. Assistant State's Attorney Kathleen Haggerty said that Singh lowered his face mask and then showed them an airport ID badge. Where'd he get that? Who'd he murder to get that? And that he was wearing around his neck. Although at O'Hare, I don't know, I think I could just make one up and walk around. I don't really feel like, I don't know. They have so many different entry points of security that, I don't know, not really sure everybody's paying attention. The badge actually belonged to an operations manager who reported it missing on October 26th. The employees called 911. Police took Singh into custody around 11:10 a.m. Saturday in Terminal 2 near Gate F12. That's my other complaint with O'Hare. Do you know how many times I've seen Gate H's this way, Gate F's this way, G straight ahead, and then you get there and the arrows are just wrong. And I've walked like another 50 fucking miles. Singh lives with roommates in Orange County, California, southeast of LA. Does not have a criminal background, according to the assistant public defender. He has a master's degree in hospitality and is unemployed. A fucking master's degree. Well, he certainly made himself at home. He knew how to do that. Yes, I do. Well, just wait. He acknowledged the circumstances. The public defender acknowledged the circumstances were unusual, but noted that the allegations were nonviolent. Yeah, he's just hanging out. It was unclear what brought Singh to Chicago if he has any ties to the area. As a condition of bail, Ortiz barred Singh from stepping foot in the airport again. I would be happy to be barred from O'Hare. The problem with Midway is it's mostly Southwest, and sometimes I can't take South. I can't do. No, sometimes no. I'm just not. Sometimes Southwest is fine, shorter flights. But if it's a long flight, or you want to stay on the airline you like, you're probably not gonna.
Delta.
Yeah, Delta. It's my favorite. Shout out to all the Delta bartenders in the Delta lounges in Atlanta. Boom! It's my favorite place.
You miss them.
I do miss them. I miss them all. I haven't seen them in forever, and I don't know if it's a sign of popularity or alcoholism that when I walk into the Delta lounges, they drop their stuff. I go, Kathleen! Come here, give me a hug, girl. I'm like, how you doing? And then they just ignore the uptight white guys that are sitting there waiting on a Chardonnay. Oh, I've interrupted your line. As a condition of bail, he's barred from stepping aside. If he's able to post $1,000 he needs for his release, he's due back in court on January 27th. The court finds these facts and circumstances quite shocking for the alleged period of time that this occurred. Yeah, it's like 3 months. Being in a secured part of the airport under a fake ID badge based upon the need for airports to be absolutely secure so people feel safe to travel. I do find that those alleged actions do make him a danger to the community. No, I don't. I'd let him go. I'd ask him. I'd make him tell me how he did it. They said he got food from passengers. That's how he got food. Other people just gave him stuff, which is pretty nice. I've never had anybody ask me for food in an airport. No. And I've been in bazillions of airports, but nobody's ever came up and said, "Can I have a cheeseburger?" Nope.
You're homeless.
Or money. Right. There's no homeless people in an airport. There's nobody begging. There's nobody. Just because we're on flight. This one is also, I don't know how I missed this the first time. Wow. A stowaway survived a 5,600-mile flight by clinging to the jumbo jet wheel at minus 60 Celsius as his pal plunged to his death.
What?
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened before. They're going to make a They're going to make a documentary about this guy. Now, this guy has a right to be depressed.
Wow.
Themba Quebeca, 30 years old, held on to the jet. He's a little tiny African guy. He's very small, very petite. He held onto the undercarriage for an entire 11-hour flight from South Africa to London Heathrow in 2015.
Oh my God.
Yep. This is crazy. He was unconscious in hospital for 6 months after he was... 6 months he was in a coma in a hospital. After he was discovered on the runway at the airport in London. After Themba emerged from his coma, he was told that his best friend, who had started the journey with him, had fallen to his death at about 5,000 feet.
Oh
that
God.
Guy just... Themba had tied himself to the plane with an electric cable wrapped around his arm. But soon after takeoff from Johannesburg on June 18, 2015, they're bringing this back up because they're making a documentary about the guy. He passed out through lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
It was the first time Themba or his pal Carlito Valley ever had been on an airplane. Well, I can't say they still haven't been on an airplane. They were tied to an airplane, but I don't consider that being, well, I guess technically he's on it. He's laying on it. Carlito was also escaping South Africa in the poverty of their campsite, as he crawled with his friend into the wheel arch of the jet. But just minutes before landing, he fell from the British plane. His body was found in the air conditioning unit of an office block in Richmond, 6 miles from Heathrow. He made it all the way to London,
And walked.
and he fell out into an air conditioning unit. The 30-year-old recalls, when the plane was flying, I could see the ground, I could see cars, I could see small people. After a little time, I passed out through lack of oxygen. The last thing I remember, just after the plane took off, was Carlito saying to me, "Yeah, we've made it. We had to force ourselves to be squeezed inside. I could hear the engine running. My heart pounded before, but that day it was not in my mind at all because I had just taken the decision to do it. I didn't care whether I lived or died. I had to leave Africa to survive." He remembers waking up from a 6-month coma later to a police report showing him Carlito's passport, asking if he knew him. That's his friend. The officer told him he never made it. He fell on top of a building. How sad is that? 5.5 years later, Themba, who has now adopted the name Justin, has gotten asylum. Great. And is living in Justin is now living in Liverpool. Doctors, this is fascinating because how do you survive? It's 60 below Celsius. And you're what is it above? My friend Drew is a pilot. He knows. Whatever it is above a certain thing, there's no more oxygen. I don't know but way beyond where he went. Doctors believe he survived because the freezing temperatures kept him in a state of suspended animation. With a lowered core body temperatures, his critical organs were placed into standby mode where they could use up less oxygen, Themba still struggles with the guilt that while he survived, his friend didn't. He said, "I missed his funeral because I was in a coma." That's okay, Justin.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I was sad that he was buried and I couldn't say goodbye, so I went to put flowers on his grave. I miss his presence. I used to call him my brother from another mother. He's the only guy who knew me more than anybody where I come from. I still feel like we both come on a long journey together, so he's still my friend no matter that he's gone. There have been about 109 recorded stowaway attempts around the world, but only 24 people who took their chances in the plane's landing gear have survived. London is one of the most popular destinations for stowaways. Notice it's not O'Hare. Maybe we should do a GoFundMe. Chicagoans, are you listening to this? You want to do a GoFundMe for your airport? I'll start it. I'll start it. Just so you can get, like a P.F. Chang's or a Longhorn or sushi or, I don't know, when you have to spend a long time there. Once you got your Panda Express, you're done. Now you're out of shit to do.
It's a good Chili's.
They're making a documentary about Justin. His real name's Themba. And it's called The Man Who Fell from the Sky. So that'll be fun. All right, I'm going to end this with this. It's kind of a mystery. Not 100%. But who fucking knew? I mean, there's an army museum at Fort Belvoir, Belvoir, that houses 456 pieces of Nazi art.
What?
Yep. The works remain under lock and key, and the collection includes 4 watercolors painted by Adolf Hitler. Yeah.
Okay.
It was hard to print this out exactly right because I don't know. Sometimes it's
Because it's in German.
no, it's not. It's in English. So this is it's in Virginia. It's a secret armored storage facility that holds hundreds of seized Nazi artworks, and they compare the warehouse to the Indiana Jones film Raiders of the Lost Ark. 456 pieces of Nazi art and propaganda have remained at Fort Belvoir. Belvoir. That's my high school French. This is Fort Belvoir. A sprawling base in Fairfax County. For watercolors, blah, blah, blah. This is crazy. The Americans took possession of these works to keep them out of the mainstream. The Army has a chief art curator, told them, he's telling the New Yorker magazine. The fear was there would be a revival of Nazism. Look at the world today. That happened in 2020, and it's been a long time, meaning... And then there's pictures of this stuff. So there were paintings glorifying, aside from Hitler's 4 watercolors. And he must have not if he'd have been a good artist, we would have never had all these problems. But he sucked. And then he got mad. And he got real mad. He got very, very mad. But these paintings, if you Google this, Nazi art in Fort Belvoir, Belvoir, they're paintings that like glorify Hitler, like where he's like this, he's a Teutonic knight carrying the Nazi flags, and a U.S. soldier thrust a bayonet through, actual soldier, in, I guess when they found it, just
12 feet
tried
tall.
to wreck it. Yeah, it's all that shit. The collection at Fort Belvoir was chiefly assembled by Army Captain Gordon W. Gilkey, rounding up Nazi artworks at the end of World War II. He used German train schedules to figure out where the Nazi art had been shipped, and then he tracked one had left Berlin for the Czech border. In the mountains at the end of the line, he discovered the cachet under the floorboards, even though they were tattered and moth-eaten. These ones don't look it. How's that for a wartime job? Oh my God, Grandpa, were you in World War II? I was. Did you go to Germany and fight Nazis? No, I did go to Germany, but I just tracked down some paintings. Oh, okay.
Thanks.
That'd be a good gig, though, if you don't have to deal with the fighting. You just go look for crazy art. In the report, Gilkey wrote that he also found German art stashed in the bins of an Austrian salt refining plant.
Hitler had a lot of time.
In his report, that's what's crazy, too. Like, they're shipping all this. You know the end is near. The Russians are bombing you. We're bombing you. And your concern is get the paintings out of here? Like, paintings of, there's just like a bunch of Nazi guys. Like, some of Hitler's not even in some of them, but it's glorifying being a Nazi. Like, they all look white and tough and, I just wouldn't, so what? Let it go. I'm glad we got it, but I don't understand why the Germans are like, we better put this on a train to the salt refining mine in Austria.
No.
Come on, right. Maybe they thought they were going to go get it back. Behind the German combat art program was always Adolf Hitler and his dreams of a super race built upon the bones and destruction of all who opposed him and his mad drive to rule the world. If his plan had succeeded, so this guy's really proud of what he did, which he should be. In total, Gilkey shipped more than 9,000 pieces of art and propaganda back to the U.S., but much of the haul was later found little to do with Nazism. Most of the collection was later returned to the German government. Any images that showed Nazi leaders or the swastika were kept by the U.S. military, however, and remained stored away at Fort Belvoir. That's it. So, I don't think we can, I don't know, I just think it's crazy that we have that and it's stored away. I don't know what you should do with it. Why not just destroy it? Why are we paying to keep it? Why do we have an art curator that's in charge of this shit? Just loser shit belongs either in a museum or destroyed. One of the two. And I would just say get rid of it. Why are we spending money to house it? And I don't know. I don't get that. Especially if, I don't know. We have enough pictures of Hitler. You can Google it.
Bye-bye, chicken pie.
Yeah, bye-bye, chicken pie is right. All right, guys. It's time for football. I'm going to root on Green Bay and then the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm from, Missouri? Boom. But I don't know because I think the Bills are really good, and I'm not sure Patrick Mahomes is 100% healthy. He has turf toe.
Turf.
He has turf in his toes. He has grass in his shoe. I don't know if he's healthy enough. We'll see.
I got the Bills. I'll bet you.
All right, Paddles took the Bills. And what? Give 3 points? I have to give 3 if I'm a Chiefs bettor?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll only take cash.
I do like the Bills because they're young, and I love Buffalo. I've had so much fun doing comedy up there. But I have to remain loyal to my state.
No.
Yeah, I do. And then if it's the Bills and the Packers, then I don't know what to do. I have to remain loyal to the NFC because originally I was child of the NFC. I was a child of the NFC. St. Louis Cardinals, they were taken away from us. St. Louis Rams, they were taken away from us.
So you need to be an AFC person now.
Well, right, because the Chiefs, I have to be AFC, but I can't. It's hard. It's not just switching cities. I have to switch
Gronkowski
leagues.
just found out he was in the NFC.
I know, Gronkowski. Did you guys see the meme? He's back in the locker room going, NFC, baby. And then his teammate's like, dude, we're in the AFC. He's like, what?
No, NFC.
NFC, right. He still thought he was in the AFC. How can I have as much brain damage as him? I don't know. I have not been hit that much in my life. All right, termites, that's it until week 26. I might get a couple ads where I'm gonna read some stuff because this ink is not cheap. And if I do that, you'll just have to bear with that and go, Mama Termite needs ink cash. Or I could just go up to Target every week with one that's actually used and go, this doesn't work. Can I get a new one? And the young person will go, I don't really care.
Find out what shift she works.
Yeah, what shift does that lady work? Here's why I want to return this. I don't care. Just do it. Okay. Oh, well. Okay. So cheers to St. Brendan's in Green Bay. Best Guinness outside of Ireland I've ever had. I have no idea what their secret is. Maybe somebody can find out. Somebody find out. Tell me in the YouTube comments. And football for everyone. And that's all I got. Signing off with what? Night-night, termites.